Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to do, or tonight we're going to be working on Home Links 1.4, and you can find that on page 13. All right, they gave you an example at the top of the page. You might want to take a minute and just look over this example. It is, what is 72 rounded to the nearest tens? And boys and girls, make sure you're paying attention to what they say when what you're going to round it to. We're rounding to the nearest tens. Okay, so if you remember, we put our two tens, which would be 70 and 80, and then we put what the middle number is, and half of 10 is 5, so you know that's going to be 75, because 75 is in between, halfway in between 70 and 80. So then we're going to look at it, and we're going to say, okay, 72 falls on the left side of 75, so 72 would be closer to 70, so 72 rounds to 70 to the nearest tens. All right, let's look at number 1. Okay, it says round each number and show your work on your open number line. What is 87 rounded to the nearest tens? Well, the first thing we want to look at is what are our two tens? Well, we know the first 10 is going to be 80 because 80 is my number that I'm working with. And then what number comes after 80? What 10, which would be 90. We want to find out what our middle number is, and remember half of 10 is 5. And then we always use the first 10 that we're working with, so that would be 85. All right, so if we round 87 to the nearest tens, well, let's find out where 87 falls on our number line. So here's 85, then we go 86, 87. Okay, so there would be 87. 87 is to the right of 85, so it would round to 90. So 87 rounded to the nearest tens would round to 90. All right, let's go on to our next one. We have 283 rounded to the nearest hundreds. Now, boys and girls, this time remember we're rounding to the nearest hundreds. So we want to know what are our 200s. So we look at our number, 283, so I know my first 100 is going to be 200. We want to go to our next 100, which would be 300. And now we want to find that middle number. So half of 100 is 50. And then we always go back to the first 100, which gives me the 2. So our middle number is going to be 250. So when we look at 283, we want to say, okay, does it fall to the left or the right of 250? It goes to the right because 280 is after 50. Oh, sorry about that. We got to put the 2 first. 283. So 283 would round to 300 if we're rounding to the nearest hundreds. All right, on the last one, it says round the numbers in the problem below to the nearest tens. You may sketch an open number line to help you. Use the rounded numbers to estimate the answer and then solve. So, if I come over here, I look at the first number, which is 38, okay? And 38 rounded to the nearest tens, I could kind of put this over here. This would give me 30 and 40. Okay, my middle number would be 35. 38 is going to go over here. So I would say 40 plus, and 56, I would have 50 and 60. 55 would be my middle. 56 is over here. So 60. So my estimate is going to be 40 plus 60 equals 100. And then I want to add up my actual. Okay, and you can use any strategy that you want here, but I'm going to just use the regular one. 8 plus 6 is 14. I'm going to bring over that 10. 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 1 more is 94. So my actual answer is 94. I estimated at 100. So yes, my answer would be reasonable, okay? And the reason it is reasonable, we want to explain this. We can just say 94 is close to my estimate of 100. So therefore, my answer is reasonable. And boys and girls, all this is given a complete thought on whether or not your answer is close to your estimate. And an estimate, remember, is just a guess. Okay, boys and girls, that concludes lesson 1.4.